Hello there. There are rumours abounding that the Reform UK leader Nigel Farage wants to get rid of his party chairman Muhammed Zia Yusuf. But is that possible? According to YouTuber Dan Wootton, sources are telling him that Nigel Farage wants to ditch his chairman, but that it will take place sometime down the line. But why would it take weeks, maybe months, to do this, given Farage's history of ruthlessness where these matters are concerned? What's stopping him from getting rid of a liability today? After all, the new Reform UK constitution agreed last year does say the party leader shall appoint a party treasurer, a party secretary, party chairman and deputy leader from among full party members in good standing and on the list. So why not appoint someone else today? Or is it all just a load of old smoke without fire? Or is it that getting rid of Yusuf would be like trying to pry limpets off a rock? Has the attempt to democratise the party actually made it harder to achieve that, and harder in the short term to eject his chairman? Because Nigel Farage and his party chairman Muhammed Zia Yusuf are the only directors in a position to change anything, and neither of them has the majority control. As far as I can see, they have to agree between them any changes, and more on that later. And the real question here is, can Nigel afford to wait months to get rid of his chairman? Because some of the hearsay suggests that Yusuf cannot operate as a team player, and there are also allegations that Farage did not know that Yusuf was reporting Rupert Lowe to the police, something that ended up with Lowe having his gun collection confiscated by the authorities. Although I don't know Yusuf, nor can I verify any of this hearsay. I only mention it as it is ferociously circulating social media right now. And now Rupert Lowe is handing Farage, Yusuf and Lee Anderson the added headache of serious defamation claims. Now, if Farage does want to rid himself of Yusuf, why not do it in the same way he defenestrated both Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe, quickly sack them, then set about a character assassination? Well, there may actually be a set of impediments in the form of company law in the way, because of what looks to me like an ill-thought-out attempt to restructure Reform UK, with the only way out to me being to call either an annual general meeting, an emergency general meeting, or even both before anything can change. Now, I will point out that I'm no lawyer, but all I've done is look through some documents. Now, a little background, and please bear with me as it is relevant, as these political parties are all formed as companies under the Companies House umbrella. It starts with a political activist, Catherine Blakelock, creating the Brexit Party on the 23rd of November 2018. Nigel Farage later became the party leader of the Brexit Party after leaving UKIP, and a few days later Blakelock was thrown out for some previous social media postings. And Farage, with the Brexit Party, went on to win the UK's last EU MEP elections. But Blakelock has her own issues with that, and with the way Nigel operated the party afterwards, leading to, I'm told, an upcoming lawsuit, which I won't go into here. Now, interestingly, on the 19th of March 2021, Richard Tice and another created a company called Reform UK Party Limited. But 2 months later, both the Brexit Party Limited and this new Reform UK Party Limited filed name change details to Companies House on the same dates so that they could swap names, which they did. Probably in order to protect both parties' names and keep them under their control until everything was official and finalised. And then, the company that ended up being called the Brexit Party, with Tice still as a director, was dissolved by compulsory strike-off on the 30th of August 2022. All rather strange. Now, I'm not saying anything was illegal, just, well, weird. Then, for completeness, Blakelock returned to the fray a year later and started a new company called the Brexit Party on the 9th of October 2023. Which means we've effectively had 3 Brexit parties, yes 3, and 2 Reform UKs. Now it gets really interesting and complicated, and potentially why Farage can't immediately ditch Yusuf, if that's what he wants to do. The original Brexit Party was set up as a standard limited company, whereas a political party would normally be set up as a private company limited by guarantee without share capital, meaning there is no share ownership, no dividends, only membership, but it still has directors. And this is the source of the complaints about the Brexit Party that became the Reform UK Party as we know it today, being an undemocratic Nigel Farage publicity vehicle. So Nigel agreed to democratise the party, and in their annual conference and general meeting in Birmingham last year, those there voted on a constitution to do just that. And part of that was handing control over to a party board, like an NEC, with the board able to call meetings, etc. But if you read that constitution, you will note that it refers to an unnamed company, lots of X's, and a limited liability company, LLC, to boot. And that is significant, I think, in the light of what Farage and Yusuf did earlier this year. What they did on the 18th of February this year was create a new private company limited by guarantee without share capital called Reform 2025 Limited. And after that they altered the original company, Reform UK Limited, so that the majority shareholding is owned by Reform 2025 Limited, and naming Reform 2025 as the only entity with significant control of Reform UK Limited. So which part of Reform are people members of? Reform UK Limited or Reform 2025 Limited? Does this lack of clarity put doubts on the validity of that constitution? Would it take a public court case to test that validity? Why wasn't Reform 2025 set up first? Now, the overarching company, Reform 2025, has only 2 directors, Farage and Yusuf. And get this, no person or entity is named as having significant control over Reform 2025. So ultimately, no person is named as having significant control over Reform UK in any guise. Something an article in the Byline Times queried earlier this year, when I would say that it would be the names of the members of the new party board that should appear there, as they will be controlling the party under the new constitution. Surely. But I cannot find if this new board actually exists yet. Now, I may be wrong, but once again it seems to me that the cart has been put before the horse. And I don't know the legal ramifications for anyone exercising significant control over a party without being declared as such. Also, the Constitution does not appear to have a mechanism for removing either Farage or Yusuf from their positions as Reform 2025 directors and members. Also, as far as I can make out, only members of a company can change the directors of companies formed as a private company limited by guarantee without share capital, with members taking on a liability to do so. Something I've read that should be made clear to people before they become members. And what are the repercussions if they're not told of any potential liability? I fervently hope this is not the manner in which Reform UK intends to operate the affairs of the state, should they ever get into power. Now, for ordinary Reform Party members to vote, they would, I believe, need to be entered onto a membership list that explicitly refers to them as being members of the company Reform 2025 Limited. If they haven't been, then it seems to me there are only two voting members that matter: Yusuf and Farage. And there's so much more. Now, under the Reform UK Constitution as it stands, it would take at least a 2/3 majority to amend the Constitution at a general meeting, and you have to wait 7 days before any amendments made come into force. So unless you change those as well, you could end up not being able to guarantee to immediately agree a Democratic Party setup. And shortcutting any of this would create a press and legal field day. But what do you think? Finally, please like, subscribe and comment below, and a big shout out to our Patreon supporters, and thank you for watching.